Nightwing at Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today. Very quickly, I messed up on the videos you guys saw earlier today. I'm sorry, I deleted all of them. You guys know I don't accept the type of audio quality here. I'll make it up to you. I'll do the World's 2020 thoughts and opinions for day 5 and 6 and 7 all together. New video. You have this video right here, which is the TSM versus Fnatic Worlds 2020 Group Stage Day 7 live reaction, and then I'll do a highlights reaction of the game today as well. Going into the game right now, you have TF ban, Caitlyn ban, Set ban for Fnatic, who are on blue side. TSM is going to be on red side. Obviously, TF is literally a auto ban or an auto take. That's pretty much it. Then you also have I don't know, TSM taking away the Evelyn. Finally, I guess they learned. So, what do you think?
It's not something they should have ever let go through in the first place. The ban, the Evelyn and the Lucian, obviously, those are the two major picks that actually made this game go.
The Evelyn ban, I don't let them have that slide because they knew
is more necessary.
They knew it. They even said it on video. They knew he was going to get Evelyn.
They thought that the big thing about it is you leave picks open if you think you have a direct counter to them, which they obviously didn't based off the draft phase. I think
what's funny?
Problem. What?
You know what's funny? Mithy is facing his old team.
Yeah, that's not that funny. He's faced G2 a lot. So I think the big problem right now is a big good thing I have about this is the fact that Lucian was actually the more prioritized ban I think should have happened inside of the TSM versus in the first series, because again, as Nemesis has shown, this is like one of the few picks that I think he's actually competent on. As it stands right now, we got an Ornn ban. I think that is definitely one of the they're trying to ban out like the more oppressive picks. Again, Ornn with Senna and all these people who can use these kind of upgrades is actually pretty viable, and he has a lot of long range engage, which TSM's comp. What's it called? Not TSM's. He has a lot of long range engage, which Fnatic's comp technically doesn't have any points of it right now. They have a lot of kind of situations where they can wombo combo, but they have no source of engage or frontline right now. I think Ornn was probably the best ban. Ezreal obviously is a great ban because, double lifts at this point in time feeds too often to be able to be reliably. His best champion is Senna. Then he goes to resorts to Ezreal after that because it's a safe pick that he can still dish out damage on. They picked it. They're gonna make him moderately useful in this situation. I don't think he's gonna.
See, with TSM's composition, you have the hard engage, and you have that's it so far. You have Galio and Camille. This is hard engage. This is a hard engage composition so far. So to round it out with the bot lane, I am predicting a Ashe and Tom Kench. That's what I'm predicting so far.
I think you're just resorting to things. It would work in this specific comp. Kalista would work in this comp. There's a lot of things that could. They could go to the Kalista.
Oh, I was going to say Leona. Yeah, you already have CC with Galio and Camille. So Leona makes sense. Might as well just let him have Ashe then. Just let him have Ashe.
They're either going to go Ashe or Camille.
Or Jhin. At this point. Jhin could work too.
Also very good. I think it's less.
But Reckless will take Jhin. Reckless is a really good Jhin player. He'll take Jhin if it's open.
It's not oppressively good on their comp specifically. It gives them a lot of long range engage, which means Leona and all of them can catch up. But I'm not 100% sure. They already have Senna.
Oh.
Where are they running Senna at? No, they're not. They're not.
I play Draven. Yeah. They need a top laner.
Yeah, they have Senna already. They're not running They're not running Jhin. He's already picked ADC. I think a big thing about this right now is the fact that, again, with the set ban is, in my opinion, really good on Fnatic's side. It seems to be only the most confident pick we've seen Spica on recently, especially towards the end half of the playoffs for TSM. There's a lot of there's a lot of engage on TSM side. I don't think they need a secondary source of it. They have a pretty substantial amount of it in 3 different aspects of it. This will give them the ability to be able to slow people down so their primary engage tools can get onto the people. And then they can do that. That's probably a good pick.
All right. I like TSM's comp so far. Hard engage poke comp, hard CC engage poke comp is what I should have said. That's fine.
It's the ability for Spica to take over in the early game again. He's moderately capable in the Nidalee. It's not an uncomfortable pick for him. I think if we base it on who's gonna scale better, it's probably in the favor of I would say Fnatic. Honestly, Fnatic has a more beefier front line. They have a really good They have a better scaling ADC, and the mid laner has the ability, if they play it properly with the ability to wombo combo inside of Volibear and Orianna, they could 100% just one-shot all of TSM's comp for the most part, or at least the very important carries.
Even if TSM lose this game, if they lose this game, they're pretty much out. They're 0-4.
They can't.
Yeah.
They have to win.
This is a must-win game
all of them
for TSM.
I think.
Yeah, but at least if you win this game, at least if people want to use the momentum argument, this will be the game that'll do it for you here.
I'm just saying, if they don't win all 3 games, I believe they're eliminated. I think they have to win all 3 to be able to make it to the next round, because everybody's 2-1. There's going to be, out of Fnatic and LGD or Genji, whoever wins, like, out of this, they're going to have to hope. Like, honestly, they can get up to 3 wins at the most. Every other team, there's going to be at least 2 teams that get to, let me see. There's going to be at least
tiebreakers.
2, 3. There's one of the teams that is going to play right now could face each other. Like, there's a possibility. I actually.
We could see it for the rematch. There's a possibility we get this. Oh my lord! What is that?
All around, I think that TSM picked a comp that's good at engaging and looking for picks and all that stuff. They have the ability with Jhin to be able to start long-range engage, so the primary forces of engage can get on top of there. But again, there's a lot of abilities to stop that based off of Braum and all that stuff, and Olaf not being able to be stopped. Well, actually, who did they pick in the top lane? I'm trying to remember.
For Fnatic, Volibear?
They picked Volibear. Volibear and Orianna is going to be a really good combo. They're going to team fight a little better than TSM, but TSM is going to try to hard engage. If they're able to get that pick off before the fighting starts, or if they can kind of cheese, hop over a wall with both Leona and Camille, they might be able to pick off the main carry of the team and be able to win based off that. There's a possibility. I think as a standardized team comp, team fighting comp, I think Fnatic's win, but I could see a situation where TSM is able to make a pick happen. I mean, all around, I think. Let's just start. I'm gonna turn on the volume, but all around, I think that the comps are kind of suited towards what I think both of these teams need. TSM is not a good late game scaling comp. They need to get this early game engagement.
For a good macro mid game team.
Yeah, they need the ability to get the game snowballing in their favor, and they want to transition into that. They were a lot more passive in the previous situations, or they made a lot of mistakes. Execution is not something we can reliably say isn't going to happen. I'm going to assume Bjergsen's going to play a little better than they did in their situation. Fnatic is playing a comp that I think is still suited towards them. Again, Selfmade's a pretty solid Graze, but again, I think this is, in terms of favorability, I would give the edge to Fnatic's comp, because I haven't seen a situation where they've been able to execute a comp, like TSM at the very least has been able to execute a comp and in the early game as effectively as they should. So this comp doesn't scale well, so I don't know if it's going to matter. But at the same time, Fnatic's, TSM's comp, they gave the 2 most important pieces to this comp to be able to get to going. They gave it to both their 2 best performing players, which is what's it called? Which is Spica and Broken Blade. Both of these players have a pretty solid, have the most integral parts of this comp to be able to make it succeed. So hopefully that means something.
Oh no! Concussive blows. No.
TSM, Fnatic is going for a cheesy level 1 comp. I don't know why they do it consistently.
It's just Fnatic. They've always did this.
Yeah, it's Braum is one of the best level 1 characters in the game. That is just a fact. He can stun an entire team.
Yeah, literally 3 autos and then bam.
And there's only a few.
So looking at the game so far, I need, for TSM and for all the TSM fans out there, literally we're predicting this kind of during the game. Spica, he's been getting ahead. And even in their losses, he's got to take over the game. He's got to do it. I just don't see the bot lane doing it, and I really don't see Bjergsen doing it.
Very good combo in terms of in terms of what TSM is capable of. I do think Camille Galio is the most comfortability pick for them, because Camille combos extremely well into Galio, because you can ult onto a priority target and Galio can ult on top of you. I do expect this to be the big solution to what TSM's been leading towards. This has been one of the biggest problems I've had with this team, is they've not went with reliable, constant, engage like this right here. This is going to give them the ability to lock somebody down. Somebody's going to get stopped here. If Camille can get on the back line, they're going to be forced to either Zonias if they have it, or take it to the face, and hopefully they survive. Again, there is a world where I see if TSM's comp gets snowballing, I don't see a way that Fnatic can get into it unless TSM just misplays drastically.
That's the same thing I was gonna say with Fnatic's comp. You start Volibear, Orianna, Senna snowballing. I don't see a way back in.
For anybody, a comp that. The thing about it is, there's ways to get back in against TSM's comp, because they're not oppressive enough to the point. They're just a good team fighting comp. If TSM gets ahead and they start doing this,
What about like skirmishes? Skirmishes early on? I don't know.
100% going to be in TSM's favor. But
Yeah,
all around,
really,
I think that like if they get to the situation where they like actually get ahead in this game, there's nothing that Fnatic can do. Or so is because they're going to ult onto a priority target, and there's nothing the carry can do because they are going to get bursted. They can't escape that. I really like the combo of Galio and Camille. Give Bjergsen Galio because he's been performing poorly recently. They're gonna ban if they win this game. They're gonna ban one of the two. I think it's probably gonna be the Galio though.
Again, no, you're not wrong. The issue here with TSM right now is that you want to take early game proactivity with your Nidalee and your Galio, start roaming around the map effectively. Galio can push in Orianna, but then you have Selfmade going down bot. Okay, no, he's not gonna do anything.
He's contesting the scuttle right now, but he's not gonna be able to do it, so he's gonna probably try and rotate up the top scuttle. That's what he's probably gonna go for after this, because bot scuttle is gonna be contested. Volibear is just getting back, so he's gonna be and Camille hasn't backed yet, so he's gonna be up a little bit in terms of combat capabilities on Senna. So there's not really much he can do. He's gonna look directly for that. Obviously, Nidalee's just gonna give that up. There's no reason to get greedy and go for that second scuttle. Nidalee has not been like kind of doing anything so far. Again, I like the like you don't have to do something off the bat, but he does need to start looking for stuff soon. Like he's not going to scale as well as Graves, and that he needs to keep that in mind. Graves is going to look for a gank top. I think that Broken Blade should acknowledge this. I don't know if he knows this is happening, but hopefully he does. But Volibear to get engage off only has to flash auto attack.
Right now, so far, I mean, like if we're looking at other teams in the tournament who would have already pushed their lead, like you would have seen the other teams, mid laner or jungler, already pairing up to make stuff happen around the map.
I wouldn't always say that. This is, again, we're only 4 minutes into the game. It's a little bit early for that. I would see a situation where maybe the junglers comparatively would look for more contests.
Why not take Shen into this? Why not take Shen into this, actually?
Who?
TSM. Why not?
No, Camille, Galio. They're going for a specific thing of engage onto the squishy backline and force them to use some sort of, because they can't flash out. So if they don't have a stopwatch, they're probably going to be dead. This is a lot better of a combo than
better laner, Broken Blade or Licorice.
Broken Blade. Broken Blade's always been a better laner, even in his prime, in Licorice's best situations. Braum is frustrating. He's going to make this lane impossible for them to engage on top of because he just has the ability to shield and stuff. I'm not liking the pace at which Spic is playing the game right now. He's down in CS because, again, Graves' farm is better, too, on top of that.
I would really put that on him. That's more just a champion thing.
No, he's not doing anything. He's always looking for an engage.
Oh! That's not good for Biofrost.
He'll be fine.
He's gonna get jumped out so hard.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to recall.
They did this specifically because
re-engage flash.
Oh,
flash.
Actually, see that? No, Selfmade's right there.
Oh, she can do something, please. Move. Speak up.
They're gonna wait enough time to. Selfmade is not gonna be able to get down here. Oh, he's gonna see him right now. He's gonna look for him right now. Galio's not gonna be able to come down. He needs to do something. Like, this is aggravating. Like, he's looking for an engage.
Zenith Blade. Flash, Zenith Blade. Oh my god, they're actually...
Zenith Blade, no. I mean, he needs looking for an engage. He should have, at the very least...
Probably waited for Biofrost to at least, like, flash Zenith Blade so he could make sure you literally guarantee your...
He couldn't get... The way it worked is they would have only got one flash out. It would have been a waste of a flash on Leona. I mean, they wouldn't have got the kill there because they were sitting inside a minion wave, so Nidalee could not land a spear. He should have started walking up. I mean, he didn't have red buff. He shouldn't have even looked for that if he's not going to, at the very least, try and see if there's a vision in the top side. If he clears a ward, you know for a fact... He must have not cleared a ward, because if you clear a ward, you know for a fact that they don't have the rest of it warded, because they only have enough time for one ward at this point in the game. I think there should have only been time for one ward out of each one of them, and Braum already warded one half of it. CS Bifrost is actually worthless though. Like actually, this wave froze on him. He couldn't do anything about it. That was a very terrible back on double his part too. So essentially, what's going to happen is the wave's going to be shoved. It's going to be frozen on them. There's nothing they can do. They're letting the enemy team scale. They're going to look for those level 6 engages. Is what I'm assuming. And then they're going to start roaming around the map as a comparative pair. This is going to be a Broken Blade centric combo with Bjergsen right now. It's just going to be whoever he ults on top of.
I would literally. I mean, that's their best bet right now because like literally they're balling. They're not going to have any favorable trades right now, and even so, no, it's not even that they don't scale better. They're not even playing.
No,
Like,
I'm just saying that the comp doesn't scale better in terms of that. They're never going to win that lane. You can't win Leona Jhin into Braum Senna. Like, it's just like an unfavorable matchup that they can't change because, again, there's too many slows on the enemy side from Senna, and there's too much CC and ability to negate all the auto attacks.
He's going. They're waiting for him. He's going to walk in there. Hillsing always face checks.
No, they're not. They're literally... They're not doing anything properly. Like, they're looking for engages, but they're not setting up vision preemptively, so they can't get anything done. This is terrible on their part.
And now they see Spica with Biofrost, so now Selfmade knows where he's going to be at. He's going to be on his the Gromp side. He's going to be close to his blue now.
They're going to look for a gank in bot side right now. That's what's going to be happening right now. They didn't clear out the vision, but it doesn't really matter 100%.
But now Selfmade knows where he is now. They know where he's at now.
Okay.
Oh, here he comes.
No. This is pretty solid on TSM's part. They still have the... No, they don't have... No, never mind.
Oh.
They didn't have TP out of Camille. I don't know what I was thinking. I assumed. And Bjergsen didn't get a good engagement. They're just delaying the comp at this point in time. That doesn't scale better because they don't have... They have a solid front line, agree. All they're going to be doing is looking for picks. But again, standardize... the ability to turn around a fight with Orianna and all that stuff, and just the sustained DPS that they have in comparison to TSM's comp out of Graves and Senna is just so much in their favor that they again, I think they should be looking for stuff, but at the same time, like, this is actually drastic. This is terrible on TSM's part. They're executing a comp that that has a lot of early game pressure. Extremely.
Like Fnatic are doing just what their company needs to do.
Fnatic's not doing anything. They're just sitting there and
sitting back, CSing and scaling. It's fine for their comp. They have an Orianna, they have a Graves, and they have a Senna.
I mean, it's not like, again, the big thing about it is the fact that if you're not ahead in this comp, there's a situation where you could see TSM's comp taking over the game because they just have so much more engage tools. Or so is what is like the engage tools on Fnatic's side are quite a bit less. Like, they have the ability to slow with Volibear, but he has to run up and auto-attack somebody. They have ult from Braum, but that's more of a disengage tool than anything. Like, the big thing about it is that the most concise form of engage is going to be Volibear ult and Orianna ult, and that's really all we can expect from this comp. I think that they did draft moderately poorly, because the fights are never going to be instigated by them. They drafted a comp that's literally just disengage off of Camille. They never had the choice of engaging themselves, so that kind of does leave them at a weird spot. TSM, again, Nidalee has provided nothing in this game. She's down in CS. She's looked for some sort of engagement, but she's always there late. She's always, like, Spic is playing this as poorly as possible right now. He's probably the worst performing member as it stands. Doublelift has made a few mistakes, so he backed before he fully shoved in the wave, so Braum was allowed to just freeze it. I mean, I have no problems with what TSM's attempting to do. I have a problem with the execution they're putting it at right now.
He's not going to be able to get the jump on Selfmade when you literally have Biofrost revealing himself before Spica is shown.
Spica was the one that showed him in that situation. He instigated that by walking up there, so Biofrost had to walk through the river.
Yeah, like, it kind of just gives it away that there's someone's there. Like, once you had someone reveal themselves in that bush, you already give away someone's there.
He forced Biofrost to have to walk up because Spica went for something that shouldn't have been.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're not contesting dragons at all. This is one of the biggest problems I've had with TSM. If they picked an early game comp and have not contested one thing yet, they're not contesting.
No, please go contest. Spica, do something.
They don't. It's too late. I mean, it's gone. It's aggravating. The TSM is just actually trash, dude. Like, they don't try and check any sort of, like, they don't try and get vision control on anything. They don't attempt anything. All they do is just wait around, hopefully taking over the game. This is just a worse.
This is literally a worse version of Team Liquid's playstyle.
It's not. They are not even playing the same because they didn't draft a comp that has. Like,
well, waiting for an enemy team to make mistakes, you capitalize all the mistakes. That's what I thought they were doing, which is literally just the worst version of Team Liquid's playstyle.
TSM, I mean, at the very least, Team Liquid did stuff in the early game at this tournament. That was the big thing. They just kind of...
Yeah, well, correction. They did it when their backs were against the wall.
Well, no, they did...
They
did stuff terribly, but...
Goodbye, Biofrost.
No, Blip was terrible. No.
And but
he shouldn't have...
He's gonna face check.
No, he's not. He saw him.
He almost did. He would have.
Spica saw him before he walked over there. That's why he checked that.
Okay. I see it. Galio's gonna come.
This is the combo right here. That was terrible on Fnatic's side. What are you doing?
Wins of War should kill him.
You don't have anybody. Nemesis can't make it up there in time. Galio has ult. You know he's mid. What are you even doing? that was terrible. Like Killising was just absolutely idiotic there. Like there was no reason to walk up there. There was no.
This man always molds at Hillsang every single time.
I molded at both teams so far. TSM is executing poorly, and you know what? Fnatic gave them the way. They didn't execute. So like Fnatic was like, you know what? This isn't how you're supposed to play the comp. Let us help you out to give you an easy way back into the game. So like Fnatic is at this point in time just trying to.
Nemesis actually did a good proactive move right there. He saw Biofrost. He knew he could kill him. Killed him, and then after that you have Whipple overstaying because he also doesn't know where the jungler is, so I don't know why you're overstaying in that position.
These people can just walk through the river and not check for anything before it happens. Like, did you not? This is a good thing. Whipple should not have been in this situation. You already know the combo that I was talking about earlier. He might have been able to turn this, but again, like, there's no reason to put yourself in a situation like that. I mean, you have a lot of hard engage on the side of TSM.
No, I mean, he should have known that Spica was around his area because Biofrost literally died topside. Why would Biofrost be topside then? It kind of gives it away he's topside.
It was obvious. I agree with that. I mean, like that specific. But again, by the time Biofrost had died, he had already been engaged on. They didn't show it at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, he died immediately right when Biofrost was engaged
I
on.
mean, are we still favoring TSM?
I'm not favoring anybody right now. I think that they're both playing poorly right now, and I'm going to see whether or not that matters. Whippo is going to lose this matchup throughout the entire game.
He's got 2 kills. He had 2 kills last time against Gen G. Didn't do anything, so we'll see what he does.
Like, Broken Blade at this point in time is going to win this lane matchup for the rest of the game. There's not really much Volibear can do unless Broken Blade misplays it, which is very possible. But Broken Blade's been playing pretty well this tournament, so I don't see it happening. That's really good. That's really good for them. That is
like that.
Flash and probably the most important member of this team right now. I think that
honestly, if they could have given that kill to Bjergsen, I would have did it honestly.
No, but Bjergsen is playing a supportive champion. He's not gonna. It's not about the damage. It's about him existing with his base capabilities.
Yeah.
Gonna look for...
Well, I guess you draft a Galio because you realize that if Bjergsen's on a carry champion, he's not in the right mindset to do it. So you just give him the supportive Galio, which is fine. I mean, I understand it.
At this point in time, in first rotation, this kind of forces them to ban either Galio, because again, there's a few things that can kind of work with Galio. I think Camille's the single.
But right now, based off how not good Bjergsen's been playing, would you really give him the carry champion? I get it's a must-win game, but seeing how bad he's been playing recently, I wouldn't have given him the carry champion anyway, though.
This is all it's doing is forcing them to have to ban other aspects, because you can't let, in my opinion, a hard engaged comp with Broken Blade playing as well as he is, with putting Galio and Camille in the hands of somebody who's pretty solid right now is a very terrible idea. I don't think no team is gonna let this through again. I think Fnatic is 100% playing this. They let TSM get back into this game. This was their fault. Hillsing engaged in a situation where he shouldn't have been in that spot. I mean, all around, I see TSM being able to take advantage of this situation, but will they? And it's probably, I mean, one of their primary tools of engage is
I think these teams, I don't think they're going to try and make mistakes right now. I personally think they're just going to be sitting here for a while just CSing. I don't know which comp that favors better. It probably favors Fnatic's comp better. If it's just in an even game state and they're just farming. Because Nidalee's going to fall off a cliff in a little bit here.
To be in a situation, as you can see, she's building the Zonias where she's going to look for the randomized Q. She's going to be able to get into the backline by flashing or using...
Oh my god, they're finally contesting something.
Yeah,
holy crap.
The third one is where they start contesting stuff. And they set this one up early, which is kind of surprising. I mean, they have very slight amount of vision inside of the Fnatic side. Camille's going to be able to make it to here. This is going to be a good fight on TSM side. I think Fnatic shouldn't be contesting this because they just have a worse comp in general for this kind of stuff. They're going to have a lot of engage onto Fnatic's side. We're going to see if this actually matters, though, because Broken Blade seems to be zoning himself out of the fight right now. Yep.
Alright, so Broken Blade is dead. No! Flash hook shot!
What?
What the fuck?
Okay, you actually, just actually stick his play. First of all, Broken Blade shouldn't have been engaging. Why was he going through the lane? That was idiotic.
Oh,
that was his dumb choice. Going through lane was the only possibility of not being able to get a solid gank off.
Oh my god, my brain. I can't handle this. It's too late in the night. I stayed up. I'm sacrificing sleep for this.
Don't be whining. I don't like that sound.
No, I'm going to be mad if I sacrifice sleep for this.
Like
Fnatic shouldn't lose. Fnatic should not be losing to this trash.
Fnatic's
this
not
is
losing. They're up in gold.
Now he's dead. He's dead. He's gonna go over the wall. He's
no,
dead. Oh my
Fnatic,
god, biggest crap. Oh my god.
Broken Blade positioned poorly. Like all around. Oh, that was really good on his part.
He's dead.
He's gonna get the kill. Oh, okay. He's gonna get the kill. All around. Broken Blade is the one that made this possible. He went through lane instead of going through the jungle with the rest of his team, so he engaged himself off. He should have stayed on the right side of the lane, but then again, he just thought he should be there faster. If you have no vision on that side, you should not be standing closer to the non-vision side where they're all coming through.
Selfmade is Fnatic's best player.
I don't care.
Oh my god.
Look at this.
That is not possible. You have a Galio. Why is Bjergsen not in front of him?
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Oh my god. You have a Galio. You have a oh my lord. You have a Galio. Tell Bjergsen, hey, can you get in front of him so you can
the reason that he wasn't standing in front is because they expected to be able to engage onto like if Galio is in the front line when he engages, he can't use his ult anymore.
You either secure the dragon or that's what happens there.
In front was the Biofrost. Biofrost should have been trying to CC in there.
I didn't even fuck. You're right. Why not just solar flare preemptively? Literally solar flare preemptively.
You can smite through stun. That doesn't do anything.
Oh my god.
They
but well, what I'm saying is that they have CC champions, and that should not be happening.
The one that ruined this was 100% Broken Blade. Broken Blade going through the lane allowed them to be able to engage on top of him, and then they got a 50-50 smite on top of it. Like, Broken Blade should have been going through the jungle with the rest of them. There's no reason for him to go through the lane instead. It gives them way too many opportunities to be able to single him out. He's the main source of engage they have. He's the primary. He's one of the most important pieces to this comp that is relying on Galio Camille ults. Like, Fnatic isn't playing that well. I think that they played the early game pretty poorly, especially Hylissang. TSM didn't really like they collapsed on the what's it called on Broken Blade, which was a solid plan, but for the most part, and they smited away again. I think for the most part, this is a mistake on side of TSM's in comparison to a good.
A little too far forward there, buddy. No, he realizes it.
They need to look for kills. That's 100% what.
But you're 20 minutes.
Something, man. Like they can't just sit there.
They're not. I don't think they're. I mean, they'll do something, but I don't think they'll be doing what we expect. We expected them to start going balls to the wall, start killing everybody.
I'm just saying, if they don't start looking for kills, this comp starts falling off because they're gonna have a lot more tools to be able to protect Senna when they engage on top of her or Orianna. Like. There's no reason to let this continually happen. TSM is playing as poorly as possible. Doublelift is not doing anything. That's the big thing. He's CSing well, but like he's not really looking for any solid ult. Has he even ulted this game? I don't think he's ulted yet. He's level 12 without ulting a single. He's already leveled it up twice before using it once.
Okay. At least he got the ultimate out of Braum out.
Oh, that's good. That's probably.
That was good.
Wait.
Brafrost's gonna die.
Ult on him. He's gonna ult on.
He's gonna boom! Here comes the bounce house.
Whippo is just killing the backline, which is good.
They're done. They're done. It's over.
Bjergsen was too determined to get the ult off on top of Camille because it was gonna be able to lock somebody down. He should have done it immediately on Leona when she got that. Would have zoned off the rest of them and they had to back off, and then Camille could have jumped on somebody.
They're going 0-6. They're going 0-6.
That was the worst possible execution. Like just because
actually makes me want to throw myself out a goddamn window. Oh my god!
Is meant to do something. Just because a comp is meant to do something doesn't mean that's the way you have to play it. They could have engaged right here with Galio ult. Waited until he got onto Leona right there. By the time Nemesis is able to get a solid ult off, and then they have nobody to protect the backline because you have Leona dead at the same time.
Literally running at 20 miles down the mid lane, trying to kill people he can't kill.
Again, it's a comp that is designed to ult on top of both Camille and Galio, but I don't see a world like unless TSM Fnatic completely falters, there's no way they should lose this game. They're gonna look for a hard engage right here. There's no Galio ult, there's no Camille ult, there's no Leona ult. Like, okay, that's a wasted ult right there though.
Okay, that's something. TSM have the better positioning right here, so they could win a team fight if it's played right.
They got down.
Okay. Watch him steal. He's gonna get it again. They're in better position. Oh my god!
He just wasn't in there. He should have been on the left side. Like this is terrible.
All right, let's see what they got. Okay, now that's over.
This group anymore.
Like, actually garbage. They're going 0-6. They are 0-6. I'm calling it right now. By the end of the day, before I watch
the that's some sort of like hyperactive. This is such a cool call. Like everybody thinks that at this point. If they can't even solidly put up a fight against Fnatic, they're probably going to lose against the other teams too.
Guys, if you watch the video, I'm sorry we're like molding, but this gameplay is actually atrocious to watch live.
I'm just aggravated because TSM.
I literally saw them win almost somewhat. Their team are going good. Then right after that, you literally have no one defending the Dragon. Spica is behind Bjergsen. What is that?
Okay, I think at this point in time, every single person should be like every single person has played terribly this game on TSM side. Broken Blade with terrible, like not only terrible engages, but poor positioning into getting into positions to engage. We had Spica literally being outside of exit. He didn't even get into range to be able to smite. By the time
behind Bjergsen, right? I was right. He was behind Bjergsen the whole time.
He should have went to the other side of the wall. I don't know why he chose to go in there, because if they collapse on the Dragon,
too late now. Why at least? Oh my God! Why are you even in that position? Oh my brain cannot handle this. Like, at that point, why are you even there? If they knew at that point, why would Spica even walk up? Why are you even walking up? You could not take it. You have Graves and OR
if he didn't land the Q on it, which put it in.
Oh, Graves has to do a smoke screen. All Graves has to do a smoke screen. He can't see it anyway.
Yeah, he can. He can still get to it. It wasn't gonna matter. He was gonna be able to get to it and smite. The thing about it is, he used the Q to be able to pounce on it, but since it was so low already, it was gonna get put in execute range to where he couldn't get to it, and like he wanted to use it for the empowered W pounce, but all he did was put it immediately into smite range, so he couldn't get to it every time.
This is
again Fnatic. I don't want to give Fnatic credit.
Go again. Yeah, there's a bounce house again. They're not killing him. Goodbye, Bjergsen. Why? Goodbye, TSM.
Literally,
goodbye.
The most simple put together comp, and they executed poorly. And the Biofrost is always going in too early, getting himself killed. He should have resorted himself to peel duty, or at the very least get onto somebody you can actually. You know that he has cleanse, so you can't actually lock him down. This is all around terrible. Like Fnatic is by far, TSM is by far and away the worst NA team. Like they would probably get last in every single group in the worlds. They would probably lose to Unicorns of Love because again they're just.
Unicorns of Love actually has a brain.
It's not about. It's just TSM just doesn't do anything. It's so aggravating the fact that they just are so bad. Like the Team Liquid, who's worse than them. During World
Credit. Okay, here I'll say this: Team Liquid played like that when their backs were against the wall.
No, they adapted is what it is, and TSM has.
Their backs were against the wall. Yeah, when their backs were against the wall.
No, TSM's back is against the wall too.
For my own personal opinion, when their backs were against the wall, Core JJ was like, "All right, I'm gonna start taking over games." None of them did that this game.
They started drafting a lot more important, like better for their team comps. They
should be crying right now. Cry, little bastards. Freaking cry. I don't even care if they get sad. This is pathetic gameplay.
All I'm saying is all around
aggravating. Oh my God!
Right,
I should throw it out a window.
I'm just saying all around. I think that this was a very Team Liquid. The reason that I was impressed with them at the very least is because they learned how to adapt to the situation they were in, and they started picking comps that were more suited for them. TSM, at the very least, they drafted one thing that I think was impressive, which was Camille Galio. But again, the Nidalee, I don't think you needed Nidalee in this situation. I think they
watch them blame draft. Watch them fucking blame draft, and draft wasn't even an issue.
It was somewhat of an issue. I think
I don't think it was. The point of their draft was they had hard engagement. You had hard CC with a self-isolation target in Camille. How easy is that to execute?
If Leona goes in first, it's not. No, Leona went in first time. The thing about it is, I actually changed my mind halfway through because again, although I think that Jhin is a better engager, they didn't need more CC. I think because they would have had to initiate this time. I think either they changed out the Nidalee.
I got some great news. I'm gonna have some more esports personalities from League joining on eventually.
Okay, but I'm saying all around, I think not only was I kind of disappointed in the fact that what's it called? Nidalee was a decent pick. I've seen him succeed on it, but again, I think that TSM's only I'm assuming they thought their only hope was taking over in the early game, but again, they don't know how to transition mid-game leads. I think I would have either liked to see the Ashe, which I actually said wasn't the better call, but I do actually think it was because sustained damage seemed to be a big problem here. They couldn't dish out the sustained damage to be able to kill the Volibear, which is a big thing. He was able to wreck the backline. He's just like a CS pretty decently well. TSM all around has been playing worse than out of all the NA teams. Every other NA team has somewhat adapted to the world's meta. TSM has not changed their style, and
like what I'm saying is like Team Liquid when they knew they had to win 2 games in order to at least get a possibility
I'm not
or a
disagreeing with
tiebreaker.
that.
You literally saw Core JJ taking. Wait, that said support.
I'm
took.
Not sure what you're talking about.
What I'm trying to say is I saw nothing in TSM right now that showed they even wanted to get out of the group. I saw no proactivity. I saw no player being like, okay, I'm gonna take over the game, and if I fail, I fail at it.
Are you saying that Team Liquid wasn't more adaptable than them?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
well,
saying
you're
that.
Not even disagreeing with me. I don't understand why you phrase it like that.
I'm saying like at the moment right now for TSM, like I saw no player on their comp, no team player in their
Can you
team.
explain why you phrased it as though that was a like critique of what I said? You phrased it so weirdly that I thought you were.
It is 1:43 in the morning. I'm halfway asleep at this point.
All I'm saying around is Team Liquid, at the very least, adapted. They played, again, I agree with the Core JJ thing. He really did play out of his mind, but again, Team Liquid started picking comps that were more suited, and they started executing them. TSM did pick a comp that kind of is similar to what they were looking for, but again, they didn't have anything to deal with. Like, Braum was able to dish out, stop pretty much a lot of their primary engage. He can stop the Zenith Blade from going past him. He can stop all of Jin's stuff. Like, all around, I think that with her taking cleanse in the bot lane, it kind of negated the usefulness of Leona, because Leona can't primary engage. She should have resorted to peeling at that point in time, because she can't be used unless cleanse is down. You are not useful as a team, as a primary engager. It should have been Camille looking for flanks all the time, being reactionary or something like that, because again, at some point in time, Volibear was able to just back in a specific fight in the mid lane.
Will this go down as the worst first seed ever from North America?
I think so. I think this is the single worst team we've ever sent to NA.
As a first seed.
Well, no. There's competitions. At the very least, if we look at it in 2018, when we went with what's that
Liquid?
team? No,
Full Belter?
100 Thieves. Actually, I think they were actually better than this team. They had at the very least more pieces that were playing.
Maybe, probably. Well, if they win that 100 Thieves team won game, so you can measure it off that.
It's not just that. They won games against those teams.
Yeah.
All around, I think that they put up fights against specific teams, and honestly, they fell apart for the most part. But at the same time,
someone said it's time to revoke our. Someone said it's time to revoke our NA pool 1 seed.
That's stupid. Whoever says that is idiotic. Obviously, we're not as good as China and Korea, but again, our most of our seeds are better than the EU seed number 3. We're worse than EU.
If anybody tells me that Bjergsen outperformed Jensen in this Worlds, I'm gonna actually throw you out a window. I don't even want to hear the league analysis.
This is the worst Worlds that I've seen Bjergsen ever play at. This is the single worst international.
I'm not saying that Jensen's that much better, but if you sit up here and tell me that Bjergsen outperformed him, I'm gonna throw you out a window.
No one's gonna say that.
No one says
that. You're going for.
Jensen had Machi Esports in this group. It's way easier for him. Oh yeah, sure.
You just say stuff because you look at the negative comments and like, wow, somebody thinks that. So you don't need to defend. There was going to be a voice for every single.
Oh wait, I want to see Double's tweets right now.
I'm just saying, Doublelift all around played terribly. He was useless in this world.
You know what? You know how I'll make you feel better. He got signed after they lost to Golden Guardians 3-0 when they lost to Golden Guardians. So
what's up?
So that's, imagine having the worst series of your career and then getting signed for next year on a full contract.
Like all around, I think TSM doesn't have hope.
Don't see a problem. Like people just don't see a problem with that.
To be replaced are Spica and Biofrost 100%. I know Spica played well this Worlds, but his ceiling is what keeps this team able to execute comps.
He
doesn't allow this team to execute comps. I don't care if he didn't get destroyed. He is in the most.
No. What I'm saying, it goes off your point. Like he didn't get destroyed, but he's not special either.
I'm just saying, a comp that is fast paced in the early game is the kind of the team comp that they're going for. It requires you to have a competent jungler. And without that being the case, I think they need to get rid of him because he really lowers the bar at which they can play. He doesn't allow them to execute specific comps.
They literally could have just sent Cloud9 or Golden Guardian.
I think Biofrost shouldn't have been on this team. Biofrost was a terrible addition to this team. He's been horrible the entirety of the time he's been on it. He had one good series in the playoffs, and everybody got kind of high on him again. But
Golden Guardians may have done better. Who knows?
All around, I think the bigger thing that I think I have a problem with Fnatic, on Fnatic's side specifically, is the fact that they almost gave, against a good team, they would have lost this game because they gave them the in. But TSM's ability to pull the trigger and be able to completely engage on people is desynchronized. Instead of the first time they didn't fully engage, they always because this comp is good at ulting on top of Galio, they force themselves to ult.
I gotta have this. Instead. I'm gonna send you the perfect thumbnail for the video when you send it to me. I had the perfect thumbnail. Oh my god.
Like, all around, I'm disappointed in TSM. I really would have liked to see some.
Like, I expected them not to get out, but I expected that. Like, I knew they weren't as good. I knew they weren't as good. But, like, this is bad. Like, that's just really, really bad.
The thing about it is inconsistencies on Fnatic part. Like, the things we saw today were the things that, like, wow, Hillersing's inconsistent. He did that this game, yet it didn't matter because Fnatic was able, like, TSM never pulled the trigger on anything. They were always late to everything. The third dragon they contested, but they never actually secured it because Broken Blade got caught out. The fourth dragon, Spicken never got into range to be able to smite it because he positioned on the wrong side of the wall. Like, all around, there are so many improper uses of this team comp that I can't see a world where this team can ever have the high hopes that I expected. Like, honestly, they should not have brought Spicken into this team. He's a terrible addition. He was never good. He didn't have potential. I did not like him being he was one of the better performing people on this Worlds. I agree, but at the same time, he really lowers the potential.
No, like he is better performing. He showed he won't get absolutely destroyed by the world's best competition, but that's not exactly a plus either. Like, every time he had leads in the Genji game, in this one, he had leads. What was that first game they played against? In Fnatic, the first game against Fnatic, first round, he had a lead. He had a lead in every single game, did nothing with it. That was absolutely abysmal.
I
think
they should go to the point where they try and revamp this roster. I mean, Bjergsen, obviously, I think he's still a solid player, but if he continues,
maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to just move on, man. Like,
if he continually plays at this level, I think that obviously the problem is that even on international competition, he plays moderately well for the most part. It's specifically
moderately well is not what you want, though.
Well, I mean, that's you.
If you settle for moderately,
Jensen plays moderately well.
Or the person that was like, yeah, if you settle, then you're never gonna get better.
Your nipple, man. I don't want to be seeing that. Your nipples coming out of your shirt right now.
No. Guys, we had a conversation where it was like, if you settle, man, you're not gonna do well. It's like
the problem is that what options do you have in NA besides importing people?
I'm just saying, hey, if you think like that, you're never gonna get better because you're always gonna think
there's no one in NA that's better than him.
Here's what I'm saying. If you keep thinking like that, you're always gonna think,
if we're never. It's not hypothetical. So give me an.
I have a wife who cheats on me, and I say to myself, you know what? I can't find another girl because I just don't think I can.
Tell me
you just
pick up. Give me a solution, and I'll listen to you.
Maybe Jensen's contract is up.
Jensen is literally. Like, again, he performed better this Worlds, but at the same time, it's not a consistent thing where I'd say that he's the answer.
He had one bad year, essentially, for international competition.
This is the only bad World we've seen him
at.
You're overestimating. Like,
I'm just saying.
This doesn't solve their problems. Their problems are fundamental, and if Jensen comes up, these problems are still going to be apparent. It's not a player problem anymore. It is a coaching staff problem. It is a leadership problem. It's all these things, and it won't be solved by replacing players one piece at a time.
Oh my god. You know what is funny? If Fnatic get first in their group somehow, they could draw G2.
I don't care. I mean, I
watching them get knocked out in a world stage by G2.
I'd like to see
TSM
just get 06.
I would love to see Reckless cry when my team stomps him in the face. Oh my god. And my boys.
The reason you want to know why I can actually give you a reason.
All I hear is blah blah. I like people
G2 because he wanted to look like he was unbiased against having an NA fan base, so he swapped over so everybody's like, wow, he doesn't completely hate EU because he likes G2.
This person is literally talking out of his ass right now because he doesn't understand logic. But as we say, I like leaders and I like people who establish themselves as winners. Man, Cloud9 and G2 both have that. That's why I follow them. But nevertheless, I don't really know what's going to happen with TSM, but I would love if Fnatic drew G2 so we can knock your ass down.
Stop wearing stupid wife beaters on thing because your nipple always comes out every single time.
Should I wear my G2 stuff?
Shirts. You have short sleeves t-shirts.
Okay, so I got about 9 minutes before I'll literally actually be dead. So like I just don't know what to say, honestly.
All around, I think that it just shows that there's
everyone know I wasn't high on TSM. I did not think they were that good, but this is just unacceptable gameplay. I'm just saying.
No one expected this out of them. The inconsistency out of TSM.
I'm just saying, like their record in North American LCS for the 2020 summer split, like that was impressive by a gameplay, like a record, like a number record. But gameplay wise, it was bad too. Like those games were barely. No, most of those games weren't good at all. Like
I think the big thing about it is in TSM, in specific things, the engages that they tried to pull off were able to, like, even if they slightly mis-executed it, no one actually punished them. And it's something that's moderately hard to see. Again, the execution.
What? He said there's still hope that TSM can beat Rogue. Oh.
What's up?
He said there's still hope that TSM can beat Rogue. Oh my god.
No, I mean, all around, I mean, Rogue and TSM are both trash. I mean, Rogue didn't do anything, neither did TSM. I think a series against them...
Rogue actually even underperformed by the little standards that were set for them. That's even terrible.
Like, all around, I think TSM it was in a hard group. I think that the group was probably the second easiest, but it was still moderately. Like, no one was easy in this group. That's the one thing about this group that is kind of...
TSM was easy. Come on.
TSM doesn't count for their own selves, dude.
No, I'm just saying.
It doesn't count as an easy group if you're counting the team that you're calling easy. No, that would be idiotic. The group's not easy for them. Why would TSM being bad make this group easy for them?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's easy for everybody else.
Yes, it is, because TSM's terrible. But TSM wasn't this terrible in NA. I still feel like they could have played a little
in North America.
Well, yes,
that's what
Team Liquid. Team Liquid played well, and Team Liquid was worse than them. Like, all around, you can't say that
it worse. I think they were even at some points. Remember,
even Team Liquid beat two teams that were. I mean, they beat the #1 EU team and the #3 Chinese team. Once.
Even in the series against TSM here for the split,
even if Team Liquid is slightly worse than them, or even equalized with them, TSM literally just lost to LGD, who is substantially worse than Suning. If we're talking about equalized teams, then, like, if TSM is equalized to Team Liquid, then they should be able to beat LGD, who's worse than Suning, who Team Liquid beat, right? Would that not logically make sense? And then, if Team Liquid was able to beat G2, who is inherently better than Fnatic, would TSM not be able to beat Fnatic? Like, it makes sense. The big problem with this team...
You're going off by, like, seeding numbers.
No, I'm not. Suning is substantially better than LGD. And that is a known fact. They've like 6-0'd, 8-0'd them in the entire season. Like, Team Liquid beat this team and wasn't able to beat TSM. I think logically, at the very least, they should be able to contest Team LGD. But they made, in no games did they ever have a lead. They never put efforts to make a lead happen. Like, this was just a TSM team that just mentally done from the first game. Like, I think they don't have potential, but at the same time, this is worse than I expected out of TSM. You can say a lot of things. I think the good thing about Team Liquid is the fact that they're mentally stronger, and they're able to, like, they have the coaching staff to be able to adapt their picks into a comp that makes more sense for them. TSM didn't have that either. Like, all around, the coaching staff's a problem with TSM. The entire kind of, like mental stability of this team, the entire competitive environment of TSM is just at a whole poor. Like, Bjergsen was, I want to point out, Bjergsen was completely decimating the Chinese solo queue scene. Like, he was, like, the highest ranked out of the Western scene at one point. Like, all around, I think this is worse than TSM should have played. Even though I think that it's understandable that they played against a weaker region, I think at the same time you have to take into consideration that a team that is, at the very least, slightly equalized to them played substantially better than them. So maybe Suning played worse than LGD. I don't think they did. LGD didn't really do anything special. They just kind of played well for the most part. I think I'm disappointed in TSM. I'm disappointed in Fnatic, like, to some extent, but again, Fnatic's probably going to be able to get out. Fnatic should have probably not made the few mistakes they did against its TSM, but when they got leads, they closed out well. Like, that was very impressive on their part. Like, all around, if we want to see TSM be able to bounce back next year, they need to replace pieces, and 100% need to replace the coaching staff. I'm tired of seeing them. They've been
replacing pieces. You can replace all of the pieces you want in the players. The coaching staff will still always be the same. Remember, the players selected Parth to be their coach. Let that be known.
I don't care. I want Parth gone.
Because Parth lets them do whatever they want.
I know, and that's the big problem with this team. Parth is terrible. He's been one of the weakest parts of TSM so far. They should not be in a situation where they have Parth still after all these misplays, like, on his part. I'm disappointed, but I'm not going to continually like.
I mean, there will be plenty in the off season to go over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping.
I'm just saying, I knew they weren't that good. This doesn't surprise me. But playing this level of bad,
this level doesn't surprise you.
Nope.
That's
against better teams, North American teams are not good. So when you face better teams, you get destroyed, and that's just how it works.
That is the worst possible reasoning I've ever seen.
They barely beat Team Liquid in their last series against them.
Team Liquid, who beat better teams in their group.
What? And you know what? FlyQuest almost beat TSM too, but FlyQuest is so fucking dog shit. They just run it down in Game 5.
I agree. Somewhat.
I'm just saying it's not. Bad, they were not impressive. Like their wins are one. Like they had a few blowout games, but most of the games were not good. You saw the game where they were on the other side of their map trying to do something.
Okay, explain to me again. I don't know why you're into this situation. Why, like, if you can say a situation where TSM should not.
If you notice already bad stints of gameplay, if you notice that they already had bad stints of gameplay, I don't see why
don't keep repeating this point. What is the difference between Team Liquid and TSM right now? What do you think? Why was Team Liquid able to succeed and TSM not? Can you explain that?
I saw a player on Team Liquid actually try and go do something around the map. I saw nobody on.
It's not about who played better. It's about if
this played better though.
No. That's not what I care about though. This is not the level at which everybody should have played from coming at it. Because Angel is better than GA, and Jensen played better against him, but I would say that Bjergsen outperformed Jensen. Why would you give credit to... Why would you say that Bjergsen didn't... If everybody played to their standard from TSM, how many games do you think they would have won?
Their standard?
No, just they played from how they played from NA coming into this.
Oh my god, you don't need to say that. Maybe one? One against Fnatic in the first week?
Maybe one game? I think, fair enough. Maybe they would have only won one game. I think they would have won two. But that's only because of the fact that, LGD actually made massive misplays, and Bjergsen didn't capitalize on it. He mis-executed a lot of combos on the Blanc, and that's why I thought that they should... I don't know if they would have won against Fnatic, but I think they would have won against LGD at the very least, because LGD made a massive amount of misplays against them, and Bjergsen didn't capitalize on it. He had a good pick.
All right. What I'm saying is, please be awake. I have my alarm set.
I'll stay up for you, man. I don't even care. It's only 4 hours away. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm probably...
Yeah, we'll talk about this on... we'll have plenty of off-season to discuss.
I don't want to talk about TSM again. I'm done with them for 7 years. That's pretty much it. I'd like to see
the jungle. I'm not surprised. I thought they were terrible anyway. So it's okay. The last thing I'll say before I really got to go to bed is when I see consistent problems, and then I see certain problems in their gameplay, how can I, as a viewer, go, you know what? Against a completely better team, they'll actually fix that issue and play better. How can you justify that in a logic of a viewer standpoint?
Did they execute as well as they did in NA? And I want you to answer.
Remember,
I don't care about anything you're about to say. Just answer my question. Did they execute as well in this tournament as they did in NA?
I would have to answer that with another question. You're executing on a team that already messed
it's
up.
Not about that. It's
your execution.
If your execution is still the same level, you won't be able to win because even if they're better teams, it's about the execution. How well did they execute the comps?
Because the enemy team, was ahead and messed up. That's how you got a chance to execute. They don't get the chance to execute here because the team that doesn't mess up.
Repeating again, TSM underperformed in every role. And do you agree?
I
don't care about competition because Bjergsen played poorly against GA, who's worse than Angel, who Jensen beat. It played well against.
No, what I'm saying is
you're not changing my mind. I just
in an advantageous position that one team is in and TSM capitalizes on it. That doesn't mean TSM's good. That means that team that actually
don't disagree with that,
position messes up, and then they could get the shot. Here, when one team is executing,
if you can change my mind, you keep repeating the same point. If you can change my mind on why Jensen was able to do well against Angel, but Bjergsen
doesn't mentally collapse in his brain. Jensen actually thinks he's very good.
Saying the reason that TSM played poorly is because they all underperformed. You're saying it's because they're just a bad team, and I think that is, again, they were a bad team, but they were not this bad, and that's all I'm trying to get a point. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to go for, because TSM is inherently, at the very least, they were more adapted to this meta. They played faster paced. They just weren't able to capitalize on mid game problems. In this
probably sort of like TSM, or at least for Bjergsen, was that LeBlanc game that solved him.
It wasn't just that. He played poorly in every single game. He was never a problem.
He was never good.
His Zillion, The one game Broken Blade got Renekton on, I don't think he played that well. He did actually capitalize pretty well on who's the top laner for LGD? Like whatever game he got. No. Was that a Fnatic game? Was the one? What time did they get Zillion Renekton?
Zillion Renekton. Fuck. Oh, that was against Gen G.
Was that against Gen G? Yeah. I think that was a misplay on his part. Like all around, I think that Doublelift again. I wasn't surprised he played poorly. Bifrost, I'm not surprised he played poorly. Bjergsen,
Bifrost was a work for him player. He was straight up crap.
But all around, like again, there was a few plays where I think that they all played. There's a few players that I think played to their standard. But Bjergsen was the key point to this. He played. It wasn't even getting outperformed. It was a lot of missed executions in situations where he should have been able to do it. Plays that he went for that he would have normally hit weren't dodged or anything. He just didn't land them properly in a few situations, and that's what bothers me the most about this. Is that I know TSM probably wouldn't have made it. They could have possibly not made it out of groups. I expected, like, if Fnatic was always the better team, but Fnatic is inconsistent, so I was hoping that would matter. But at the same time, TSM wasn't able to execute on the comp that they actually put forth. They weren't able to properly CC anybody, and Broken Blade was the only performing member that consistently played well in pretty much every game. Spica was doing well, but he can, like, again, with him having the lead, he doesn't do anything. He's not a good player. It's frustrating with the combo of Broken Blade and Bjergsen. I think this team could have at least won 1 to 2 games. This groups, but without that, there's no chance. I mean, Gen G's gonna stomp them.
Rachel said, "My mom beats me, my dad beats me, my brother beats me, my sister beats me. At least I feel safe with TSM. They don't beat anyone."
Who said that?
Zale.
Why did they just repeat jokes? I don't get this. This is an overused joke.
I don't know.
All right, that's pretty much it.
See you guys later. Send the video right after it's done.
Shut up. All right, goodbye.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.